States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Moving on, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as posted and sent to the news media 24 hours prior to the meeting.
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Davies, second by Mr. Holmstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is the leadership statement. The City of Hampton endeavors at all times to promote and model the principles of professionalism, trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting this evening's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Thank you. Next item is we got the council workshop report from Thursday, November 20th, 2025. I won't read that to you, but it is available online if anybody would like to review that. Next item up is the public comment. Anybody's got public comment this evening? Not seeing any, not hearing any. We will move on. Thank you. We have no public hearings, no old business. So we'll move on to our new business. We have to consider a request for La Luz for a food truck to be parked at the parking spots north side of their building for the Latina holiday pop-up vendor market on Saturday, December 6th, 2025. We have somebody here from La Luz. Okay, please step up at the podium, please, and state your name for us.
Hi, everyone. My name's Janetta Cole. I'm the director of La Luz.
Okay.
We're having a pop-up market at La Luz December 6th, 10 to 2 p.m., and we're asking for a food truck to be there present, and they would be there outside of La Luz on the street, 2nd Avenue Northeast. And we want them there it starts at 10, so I would ask for 9 till 3. So they have an hour to set up and an hour after to close.
All right. Any comments, questions on that one? I believe that's right along your building.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I think we've done several events there. We've never had an issue with that, and I don't think there's any street closurings that goes with
No.
that.
No. Just the
so
food truck.
So if nobody has any questions on that, I would entertain a motion to approve the request from La Luz for a food truck for Saturday, December 6th, 2025, from, you said, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I would move we approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Davies, second by Ms. Rhodey. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're good to go? Enjoy, thank you. Next, we have consider change order number 1 for the water treatment plant improvements and the amount of $29,724.62. Jason, would you like to come up and fill us in on that one, please?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Jason Petersburg with Veenstra and Kim. It's been a while since I've been here. I do have Violet with me. She's the newest engineer in our office, just along for the ride to get some experience at council meetings here. So, I was going to start. I'd submitted a letter kind of with some project issues. I was going to start by walking through that and then end up at the change order and discuss through those items. Last week, I met with Doug and Andy, and Ron to go through some, I guess, the status of the water plant improvements, as well as some pending change orders, some changes in work, and then just some general questions that we've been fielding from Andy. So start with page 1 of the letter, item number 1. There's some new air release valves that are required on the existing filters to allow for full plant automation. The existing filters have manual air release valves and then smaller, like 1-inch automatic air release valves. We've looked through those. Those need to be automated. They need to be larger. So we've requested pricing from Henkel Construction, the contractor, on that. And the total cost for adding those valves, including the installation, is $28,437.48. And that's in the change order that I'll get to after we go through the letter. Item number 2, there was some control wiring that was missing in the contract documents, some additional control wiring that was needed to run from the control panel to some different valves. We detailed that out, sent that to the contractor. They provided us the pricing for that, so that wasn't included in the original contract either. And the additional cost for that is $8,441.68. Item 3, when we started this project, there were three high service pumps that were going to need to be replaced, as well as VFDs. Somewhere through the process of final design, city staff had replaced one of those 3. We deleted the high service pump by addendum during the bid phase, but we did not delete the variable frequency drive that runs the pump. So since that had already been replaced, we got a deduct from the contractor, so they didn't have to furnish that third VFD. So there's a credit back to the city on that item of $4,874.54. Item number 4 here is one of the bigger ones in this. High service pumps have been on order for quite some time. I don't know, Andy, close to a year, I'd say at least. We've been waiting. One of the new high service pumps showed up, just one of them, and the way it was configured, it wouldn't fit in the existing hole in the floor, and it wouldn't fit with the existing piping. Had several meetings with city staff here and the contractors, and we looked at different options as far as how we could resolve this. Option 1 was to modify the concrete floor in there and the piping to make these 2 pumps fit. Reminder, you've got a total of 4 pumps, so these 2 new pumps would be a little bit different configuration than the 2 existing pumps. That was not a preferred option by city staff. Option 2 was cancel the new high service pumps and retain a different contractor to rebuild the existing pumps, which is what you've been doing in the past with the other 2 pumps. And option 3 was to use components from these new high service pumps to rebuild the 2 pumps using a different contractor to rebuild and install the pumps. We looked at the options, the pricing. Actually, option 1 was the least expensive, but it's not preferred by the city. That was around $15,000. Option 2, to cancel them, it's too late. One's already here, so they can't cancel it. The other one, there was a $26,000 restocking fee for the $40,000 pump. So we directed them to go ahead and ship that pump to get it here. The electric motor that goes on top has already been furnished. So what our recommendation is we're going to use the pump, the piece on the bottom, and the new electric motor, and rebuild the existing 2 pumps that you have there. That's the same approach as cities that you've been doing in the past with the other 2 high service pumps. But then we've got the pieces in the middle, and I guess if I were a council member, I'd be saying, what are we going to do with these? Why do we need these? Which is why we came up with the proposal as far as how we can address the costs associated with this. So V&K's proposal was that we would reimburse the city the costs associated with essentially everything you wouldn't have had here, should we just went with the rebuild option. So we had the cost of each high service pump was $40,190. So there's 2 of those. Less, the way we figured, the cost to rebuild each pump with new parts, which is $22,284. Andy got the pricing for us on that. He's been working with Northway Pump on the previous 2 pumps that you've done. But then now we've still got the cost to rebuild each pumps with parts provided by others. which brings you to a subtotal of $48,965. Then the next item there is Henkel will no longer have to install these pumps if Northway is installing these pumps, making the total $46,685.12. Only the deduct from Henkel, which was the $2,280, will show up in a change order. The additional cost of $13,000 that would have to be paid to Northway would be paid direct by the city for that. But like I said, our plan is for B&K to reimburse the city the $46,685 on this. Item number 5, there's some issues with the humidity in the control room. We had installed a mini split for air conditioning and some humidity removal within the electrical control room itself. It's not working all the time or the greatest to get rid of the humidity. And in addition to that, there's some chlorine off-gassing from the exposed open tanks in the water plant. And this that chlorine gas is getting in there that's causing some corrosion on the contacts within some of the electrical controls. So we've looked at a couple of different options there. One is adding an automatic cycle to the existing plant ventilation. We need to pull fresh air into this water plant. This wasn't part of the project, but it's something that we're looking into to try and pull fresh air into the building more frequently. In talking with the superintendent for Henkel Construction, the first thing he does when he shows up is turns on the ventilation in there because it stinks so bad in there right when he shows up to start every day. So we need to figure out a way to get some more air cycles, get some more turnover of air in there so we don't have that off-gassing. And then we also looked at, can we create positive pressure in the control room? If we can create positive pressure in there with a fresh air source, not pulling contaminated air from within the water plant, then we can keep that chlorine gas smell, which also causes some of the corrosion on the contacts, from getting into there. So Andy and I did go out. We looked at the current heating unit at the water plant. It is set up to pull fresh air from the outside. But Andy checked with the city's local mechanical contractor, and he says that existing unit is essentially near its end of life. It's on its last leg, I think were the words he said, and not adequately sized to heat the outside air in the wintertime. So using this unit to create the positive pressure is not a good option. We also looked, the control room as situated is not sealed from the rest of the water plant. It's just part of the construction. They haven't finished. There's holes in the ceiling where they removed the air that blows into the control room, but the return air that pulls air out of the control room is in there, which makes the problem even worse because when the furnace runs, it's pulling air into that control room. So we'd like to start with getting that room sealed up, getting that return air disconnected, and then look at some type of additional dehumidification within the control room to see if we can improve the air quality and reduce the corrosion. Item number 6 was a question regarding how much new paint are we getting as part of the project. We did go through the bid contract documents, and the current contract with Henkel requires all new or damaged piping to receive new paint. We didn't call for a complete repaint of the interior of the water plant, but through discussion, the pipes aren't going to match. Some are going to be color coded correctly. Some are going to be just white like they are right now if they're not going to be touched. So we are requesting a price from Henkel Construction to finish the painting. If we were to finish this, how much would that cost? So that request has been made. When we receive that price, that'll be presented to the city for consideration at that time. Item number 7, there were some questions on how the controls of the water plant were set to include the recycle pump. Currently, after you backwash your filters, that water goes into a tank, sits in that tank, any solids in there settle out. When they leave the water plant, they turn it to automatic. It empties the recycle tank into the detention tank, and then when the water plant runs again, it ends up pushing that water back through the filters again. So we think it's a programming issue. We can get that programmed. Currently looking at installing a timer on there. I mean, They're gonna have a full control panel here. Our electrical engineer's in the area tomorrow, actually, so he's gonna stop out at the water plant and look through that. Likewise with the automatic cycle on the ventilation, he's gonna look at the contactors there and see what it's gonna take to improve the ventilation within the rest of the building. Item number 8 is about the water that's in the filter after the backwash cycle. So previously, or even now, when you backwash your filters, the water to backwash comes through the filters and then is pushed up to flush any contaminants that are in the filter out. With this new design to increase the capacity of your water plant, we put in a separate pump just for backwashing. So instead of using the big pumps that go to distribution, we've got standalone pumps just for backwashing. Pulls unfiltered water from the detention tank, backwashes the filters. So when the backwash cycle is done, there's unfiltered water in the tank. It's about 3,300 gallons for each tank that would be left in there. So our plan right now is to add a step at the end of the backwash cycle, using treated or filtered water, just to push that out into the backwash tank. With the new PLC that we've added for all the valves that are getting added here, it's a control issue, and that's something else that our electrical engineer will be looking at tomorrow when he's here. So that's the summary of the letter. And we had attachments with that, with all the supporting documentation on all the prices for the pumps, et cetera, the different options that we looked at. Now I'll walk through change order number 1. This change order did have several items. First one being the air release valves on the existing filters. Like I noted, the 2 existing filters, each filter has 3 valves. These larger 3-inch or 4-inch air release valves are required for the automatic plant operation when this project is complete. Total cost for this, $28,437.48. Item number 2 was the control wiring. Once again, for the full automatic mode, we had to add the additional control wiring to operate some of the valves. The cost on that was $8,441.68. Item number 3 was the deduct for the variable frequency drive that wasn't required, so that's a credit of $4,874.54 that'll be back to the city. Item number 4, deleting and installing the high service pumps, since with our current plan for these 2 high service pumps, Henkel would not be required to remove the old ones and put new ones in. So there's a credit there of $2,280. And item number 5, we're getting to the end here, so I asked for a completion date. If everything gets approved, when can we have this project done? Revised completion date we're proposing is April 30th. Henkel proposed it was March sometime that they'd have everything done, and then they wanted till about mid-April to get any punch list items that were remaining completed. So I used April 30th. The original completion date was July of 2024, but the filter didn't even show up until mid-January of this year. So the original completion date was a little unrealistic on that. The Henkel's been doing good with the city. Some of the process that they're doing, they can only work 2 days a week to keep your existing plant online. As far as I know, there's been no complaints with Henkel coordinating work in that regard. So other than that, the lead time on a lot of the piping has been a little longer than anticipated, and the high service pumps, we still don't have the second one even. So all these issues are completely beyond the control of Henkel Construction, so we do recommend granting that time extension. So the total for change order number 1 would be an increase in contract of $29,724.62. So a lot of information. Questions?
Mr. Lemos?
If I could send you an emoji, it'd be the one where my eyes are spinning circles. You just threw out so much information, I don't think anybody in here can comprehend it.
I did throw
So
a lot.
we got to rely on you and staff and keep our fingers crossed that everything's going to work. The restocking fee for that motor is highway robbery.
For the pump, because it's custom.
Yeah.
I agree, but I tried to cancel it. I could have came in here and said it's gonna cost an extra $15,000 to rebuild these pumps, and said that's gonna be B&K's contribution, but my conversation with management was, if I was Ron, Doug, Andy, I'd be saying, what about this? Why did I pay for this? Which is why we put everything on the table right now. I wanted to get this cleaned up and get it moving forward.
Well, even though it's taken longer, I hope that it's done right, we have no problems. So the 29,724, is that above the original bond, or?
That's above the original contract amount? Correct.
Okay,
But that's part of the change order, so it'll be incorporated into the contract. You can use your SRF funds for that part, yes.
okay, thank you.
And then there would be the 13,000 or so for rebuilding those two pumps that would not be SRF eligible. I talked to Ron and Doug about that, and I think you had funding lined up for that.
That's just
too.
got to come out of the normal budget, operating budget.
Correct, but then we would end up covering that in the end.
Thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
Number 5 on the, what I've got as a pink sheet here, the control room humidity not being controlled by new mini split. Under number 5, whose problem is this? Is this our problem or your problem or somebody else's problem?
I wasn't involved in design, but I went through our contract and it said, control the temperature in the community, in the control room. And then another part of the contract said, help control plant humidity. So I'm trying to help you fix it, just to make it go away.
Right.
Andy's been bringing it up ever since we put the mini split in, so we need to fix it. I mean, you're spending a lot of money on controls here. It needs to be resolved before things start corroding.
Right.
So I guess my opinion, we did what was in the contract, but I still want to help get this resolved for the city.
I mean, I don't understand why this part wasn't in the contract, or was
The
it?
mini split was. We put the mini split in, so it'll keep the control room cool,
Right.
but it doesn't run enough to remove humidity.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just seeing that, well, this doesn't work, and that's not really up to snuff, and blah, blah, blah. And I just think that whole number 5, like I said, I can't tell if it's our fault, your fault, whose ever fault.
And, I mean, it's two parts, humidity and the chlorine off-gassing are the problem. And we controlled the temperature in there.
Right.
So we need to figure out a solution for the chlorine off-gas and the humidity still. Andy's talking to the plumber that installed it, seeing if we can add a dehumidification mode to that unit. He thinks that may be an option, but we called for the mini split in our plans, but that's all we did.
Okay, I was just thinking that you would have, or somebody would have thought, we got to take down the humidity in this room or heat it up, or, you knew all these variables going into it, I would have thought. Maybe not.
We knew we needed to control the temperature in the control room.
Right,
That's what I read.
right. But I mean, I see more than controlling the temperature. I see fresh air from here and dehumidifier from there and
The air quality within the whole water plant was never discussed, at least to my knowledge, as part of the design. I guess you guys were involved, I wasn't. But to me, it is something that needs addressed, because it's not just in the control room, it's the whole building.
okay, well, it just kind of shocks me that all of a sudden we're worried about this, and I'd have thought this would have been a no-brainer from like day one.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's all I got.
Mr. Dunn?
The second pump that we're waiting for, when's that scheduled to arrive?
Before the end of the year.
Any chance that that won't arrive?
They needed an answer that day that I met with the three of you, and they said if I gave them the answer that day, which I did, that we'd get that by the end of the year.
Where's that coming from?
Texas.
Okay.
It was 90% assembled when I started asking questions and tried to put a stop to it, is the problem. And I went around to everybody and ended up talking to the manufacturer direct, because I couldn't get a straight answer on that, so.
Any other questions, comments? I mean, it sounds like Veenstrom is going kind of above and beyond to help us resolve this. And it's going to cost us a little bit more money, but we want it done right, of course, and get the fresh air in there if that's what's causing the corrosions on number 5. So
What's the warranty on this project? Is it like everything has to function for 2 years or?
I'd have to look. There's
Okay.
typically a 2-year bond on it, but each individual piece of equipment typically comes with its own standalone warranty too. The VFDs will have a warranty, the motors will have a warranty. So I'd have to look at each piece, honestly. I don't know
Okay.
that. But there would be a 2-year bond. That's typically what we do for maintenance bonds.
Okay.
any other questions,
I have a question.
discussion?
The 13,000 to rebuild, that's not included in the 2974?
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the change order number 1 for the water treatment plant in the amount of $29,724.62.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Lamos. Anybody, all in favor
Aye.
and opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you for explaining all that,
Yeah, thank you.
Jason. Moving on, I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims as submitted in by SAF in the amount of $130,164.01.
I move we approve the claims.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Davies, second by Ms. Rhodey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is ordinance number 408. This is the ordinance amending section 6908 of the Hampton Municipal Code for some additional no parking zones. This is actually the second reading. Mr. Dunt?
Yeah, this is the 1 block area between Hardee's and Quick Stars. This is a common way to describe it. So, like the mayor said, this is the second reading.
I entertain a motion to approve second reading of ordinance 408.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Ms. Griefy. Any further discussion on this one? If not, we will go to a roll call vote. Ms. Griefy?
Aye.
Mr. Lamos?
Aye.
Mr. Holmstrom?
Aye.
Mr. Davies?
Aye.
Ms. Rhodey?
Aye.
And Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Second reading passes. We'll have that on our next council for their last reading. Next, we have the consent agenda, including the previous minutes as drafted by Thursday, November 13th, 2025, regular session, and schedule the next regular session of Thursday, December 11th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lamos, second by Mr. Holmstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Come up to staff reports. Had you have marked as absent, but you're here, so Chief Morrison, come on in, come on down.
Yeah, just a little bit of update on the nuisance stuff. We had court last week. We had 6 cases go to court. 3 of those ended in guilty pleas with court orders on those if they don't get them cleaned up within 30 days. And the other 3 were continued. One of those was requested by the city. 2 of them were by the defendants. So we'll see those next week. And then we are been working with REC on the Light Up the Night Parade coming up this weekend. So I think we're set and ready to go there. Other than that, that's all I got. Unless there's questions.
Mr. Palmer?
I did have 3 complaints about the vehicles parked at what I would call the old come and go north. They were pretty far out next to the road, and it looked like to me, if you were driving south, you couldn't see if children were crossing the road. You know, they got a traffic guard there.
Okay. At the new funeral thing?
Yeah, it was kind of blocking that one. If the kids were walking out, they could get about 10 feet out, and I couldn't see them.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm sure there's a rule on the setback, but boy, they were pushing right up against it.
Yep, I'll take a look at it in the morning.
Any other questions for Chief Morrison? Not hearing any. Thank you, sir. Mr. Tar?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm going to give you some property updates just real quick. I'll rattle through these just so you have a good idea. 315 First Street Southwest was a house demolition conducted by property owner. That's down. His contractor kind of, from my understanding, left him in the middle of the project. However, he's still working on the backfilling. He's getting really close to being completed. But that's good. That's no cost to the city. 321 Federal Street South, court's anticipated in January on 657A. 416 First Street Southwest, court is scheduled for January 8th, 657A. 308 Second Avenue Northwest, anticipated court date is in February, another 657A. 120 First Avenue Northeast was the training fire this past weekend. And city staff will be working on getting the kind of the debris field out after it cools down here for a couple days, and then we will work on getting the foundation out, and then we'll go ahead and get that backfilled. Staff can handle that. And that was a long time coming. Glad to see that gone. 508 3rd Street Southeast, staff got that boarded up today. There were some problems with that property. It's been condemned. Property owner passed away some months ago, so we'll be keeping our eyes on that now that it's boarded up. 109 2nd Street Northeast has been inspected, and it is vacant. I did condemn that. I did meet with the property owner, gave the property owner the some timeline to get a building permit on file and make repairs, and or he has another timeline I gave him for demolition, which would be 180 days, which is pretty standard. I believe they are going to want to make the repairs, but we'll see. I don't have a building permit yet, and it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks. 714 First Street Northeast, that's the one that you'll see just kind of a total rebuild of that property. They come in to get a building permit. We had a little bit of a language barrier, but got that sorted out really good. So anyway, they got their building permit and they're proceeding. The roof's looking good. They're following through. They're utilizing basically good construction methods, so that's good. Other than it's a rough time of year to try to get a house roughed in. So they're going to be battling weather here real soon. 312 3rd Street Northwest continues to be vacant. We'll be looking at that after the first of the year to maybe make some movement on that. 603 First Avenue Southeast, that's another demolition by private property owner. That's Joe Soderberg. Has the neighbor, he bought that property and he's in charge of the demo, and I think Muchler's in there trying to finish some things up this week. So we got a lot of nuisance properties in the works, so I think we're working pretty hard on those, but just entertain any questions or concerns.
All right. Mr. Palmer?
The one we burned down, is that one we own through the 657, or is that somebody else's private property?
No, that's 657, the one this last weekend, we own that property.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I did have a question that somebody, of course, posted on Facebook was, when will we be listing the properties that we own for sale?
That's something that Ron and I'll have to work through.
Over the winter.
I mean, to me, we offered a bunch of properties 10 years ago or whatever. I mean, we waited till we had a good list, so you only had to do it once and then went through it.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't expect a property a week or whatever. I expect a list of 10, 12, 20, whatever. So,
All
that's what I
right.
got.
Mr. Palmer? Mr.
Yes, sir.
Lamos?
Yeah, do you have a plan for tree removal this winter? How many are you gonna take down?
Yeah, I think we have 27 dead ash that we are going to work diligently to try to get down, plus some others that are kind of off species. And then there is, I believe we contracted out 24. That should eliminate all the dead ash in the right-of-way after we get this winter completed, knocking on wood and hoping so. And then we had 44 trees, I think it was, in the cemetery. Those are out for bid right now. And then we had 88 stumps, I believe, that have been bid out, and local contractor got the bid on that, and they'll be working on those as well this winter.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Any other questions for Mr. Tar? Not hearing any. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Dent?
Just a reminder that the burn ban will be back in place on December 1st, so the last day to burn yard waste is Sunday, November 30th. And I would just answer any questions that the council might have.
Could you give us an update on moving the body at the cemetery? Is there, how long was that timeline?
December of 2025 is, we had to publish, I think, 3 years ago, and that deadline is up for anybody related to come forward up in December. And then met at the cemetery last week with the Friends of the Cemetery, talked about moving and where the remains will be moved to, which is the daughter's plot, right beside the daughter. And plan to do it in the spring after the ground is thawed, make less work.
What are we gonna do with the tomb or whatever?
Yeah, yet to be determined. We'll need to decide what to do. I think some of the stones they plan to maybe utilize a couple of them on the site of the new spot, right, Jim? Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Dent?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Yes. All right. Thank you, sir. Move to council reports. Mr. Davies.
Just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Holmstrom.
I'll have to repeat that just to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Lamos.
I'd like to echo what Pat said about selling properties, only selling excess equipment, vehicles and equipment and things like that. Once we get a few items, or maybe partner with the county and do them all at once. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Palmer.
Well, I know people have wondered since my last report how we came out in the jigsaw puzzle contest at the library. We didn't finish last. That was the good news. We finished fourth. The winning, now they had 6 teams, and all teams did not have the same puzzle, but they had the same puzzle manufacturer, so they're all pretty much the same pieces. The winning contestants of 3 drank 2 glasses of juice per person, ate the small pizza, put the puzzle together in 29 minutes. Our time was an hour and 25 minutes. And we were fourth.
Right on their heels.
Right on their heels. And then they had two teams that were after us, and one by quite a ways. But anyway, they are planning on doing that again in January. They're going to do 8 teams, and everyone will have the same puzzle. So I'm looking forward to, avenging that and hopefully coming back to win that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Creepy.
Oh, I gotta get my list up. Thank you for the Christmas lights. They look great. The street lights, they really do. I love them, love them, love them. There was a ribbon cutting at Beats Lake Saturday for the new playground equipment. The mayor was there. Were you there, John? Okay. I couldn't be there, but it looks great. Big week for the downtown area this week. We've got Friday on Court. Woo-hoo! Which is always a lot of fun. Shop Small Saturday, and then, of course, Light Up the Night, which is such a huge deal. And if you guys have never been to Light Up Night, you've got to come. You've got to be part of it. It's just a blast. We also have a new business opening on Main Street on Black Friday. And Arnold and I are hosting a Friendsgiving, so if anybody is alone or hungry, come on over. 1 o'clock, we're serving turkey. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. And it sounds like there might be a little bit of snow for the parade again this year, which would be perfect.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rhodey.
I have no comment tonight, but
All right.
happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. I've got a couple of items that I want to kind of buzz through for the mayor's report. One thing I want to look at is this comes from the Iowa League of Cities City Council work, or what do I want to say? Rules. How do we conduct ourselves? I only got one part that I want to kind of review tonight, and it's the decorum during city council meetings. And it just says, while the city council is in session, all persons shall preserve order and decorum. Any person that refuses to abide by these rules shall be asked to leave the council chambers. Every member of the public and every council member desiring to speak shall be addressed by the presiding officer, and upon recognition, then they will be able to speak. They shall confine comments to the question under debate, avoiding all decorous language and reference to other personalities, and abiding by the following rules of civil debate. We may agree, we may disagree, but we will be respectful of one another. All comments will be directed to the issue at hand, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. And just a good review, occasionally. Moving on a little bit lighter note, we do have a thank you letter from the library. I've been in and out, as all of you know, but I wanted to get to try to read this, because I think it's important that we get when we receive stuff like this. And it just basically says, Mayor Bertzel and Hampton City Council, on behalf of the Hampton Public Library Board of Sub-Trustees and library staff, I would like to thank all of you who attended the 120th birthday celebration. Special thanks to Mayor Bertzel for speaking at the event, and Councilman Miss Jim Davies for his time on the committee, as well as channeling Andrew Carnegie for our welcome program. Also, Dr. Doug Tarr and the city employees were invaluable in helping committee set up for the park for the event. In 1905, members of the Hampton City Council had a vision of a public library in Hampton that would be around for a very long time. 120 years later, the current Hampton City Council continues to support the support started by our early citizens, and we appreciate everything that you do for our library. And thank you. Other thing, I happened to be looking out my window, and the city staff was sweeping my street in my neighborhood the other day. And I just want to tell you, you guys do a great job. You're very efficient, and when it got done, it looks great. And my neighbors will quit calling me because it was swept up. And I think our secondhand street sweepers do a great job. So thank you, city. This was a big one. I don't know if any of you that follow Facebook, there's a place called the Iowa Road Trip. There was a piece on there about the courthouse. The first comment on there said, all those small towns will eventually be empty in a few years. Well, some of our citizens said, not so fast. The first one says, this is Hampton is on the original route of the Jefferson Highway, also now a scenic byway. Beads Lake State Park is only about 3 miles north of Hampton and well worth a stop. I could go on, but people should discover what other small towns have to offer. Next comment said, I love the Franklin County Courthouse, especially at Christmas time when they string the lights from it. You can see them from miles away. Next, been there many times for driver's license. I'm not sure why they'd do that over and over and over, but and other items, when I lived there, I think the courthouse is neat looking, nice small town. A nice community and nice people there. Hampton is thriving. I've lived here for over 41 years, and I would not want to live anywhere else. And somebody just says, nope. Moved to Hampton this summer to escape the insanity of this Twin Cities and could not be happier. So people like our town. So let's just keep it making it better. And other than that, happy Thanksgiving for everybody, and have a great time with all of your families or whoever you are enjoy with. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the regular session of the City Council.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Griefy,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Davies. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
You're gonna start delivering onions for your friends.